The summit comes amid a trade war between the U.S. and China. President Xi pressing fellow leaders to reject unilateralism. Joining me now is attorney Irene Chen. She is experienced in international trade law and previously served as attorney and legal advisor at the U.S. Department of Commerce and the U.S. International Trade Commission. So trade, obviously a big topic here at the BRICS Summit, especially with what's happening right now between the U.S. and China. Will we continue to see international gatherings trying to come up and figure out ways to work around what is happening with the U.S. and China?
Absolutely. I mean, this particular block of countries is especially influential in world trade. You have China, India, Russia, Brazil, and South Africa. And so China is the leader here with the largest economy. And so with trade barriers going up in the U.S., they are going to be looking to strike agreements with other countries, maybe to source other products from, say, countries like Brazil, which has a very large agricultural sector, maybe to buy soybeans, cattle, poultry. So this actually is a very good opportunity for both sides there to burnish relationships and to lower trade barriers, maybe lower tariffs, strike new agreements.
How is the West looking at BRICS right now? 10 years ago when BRICS started, a very different picture with all of the member countries as emerging and developing. And how would you say BRICS's influence is seen today?
Well, BRICS has grown tremendously in influence from 10 years ago. You have tremendous growth in trade. You have growing economies. Overall, the amount of trade that these countries account for in the world order is about 20% and growing. So the U.S. right now, they may be looking at it, may not be. They've got their hands full with the current trade issues that they have. But in time, I don't think that the U.S. or the EU can afford not to pay more attention to this block of countries. This is emerging economies, but they're growing in influence politically and economically.
You mentioned Brazil and its agriculture. We know that both the presidents of China and Brazil met on the sidelines of BRICS discussing Belt and Road, but soybeans, Brazil's big export. Could we see perhaps a deal between China and Brazil when it comes to soybeans, especially given what's happening with the tariffs on U.S. soybeans?
It's very possible. Brazil needs more trade deals with countries, and they would love to be in a position to increase their soybean exports to China. And China, as predicted, with the U.S. throwing up trade barriers, China is going to be looking to other countries to do business. So it would be natural, now that they're at this BRICS Summit and they're talking, that kind of deal would eventually come out.
What are some of the outcomes that you expect to see once this all wraps up here in South Africa? We know that President Xi said that he wants to kick off a second golden decade of BRICS. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that these countries will continue to grow in influence outside of the Western bloc of countries. China cannot really be ignored here. I mean, the U.S. has a very fraught relationship with China. They have a complicated relationship with Russia. And so these countries will be looking to do deals directly or multilaterally with each other. And with this group of countries, they have a combined influence, both politically and economically. So I believe that they will continue to grow in influence.
All right, Irene Chen, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your perspective.